Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Extra Mile with Whitewater Freight. I'm William Bochkay, your host. Today we're going to talk about being a 7-year-old and what that's like. So, have you ever had a full-grown adult have a full-grown meltdown over something small? Maybe like something being stuck in traffic or maybe in a meeting, eating the last donut. Look, I've been in logistics for 30 years. I deal with drivers and carriers and brokers for a living, and I can tell you, we all have meltdowns. Everybody except for shippers and clients. But here's the thing, a lot of us really are emotionally like 7-year-olds, just in bigger bodies. And the more we recognize that, the better we can handle our own emotions and help others process theirs. So let's talk about for a second why we're just grown up 7-year-olds. Think about it. When a kid gets upset, what happens? They react instantly, they struggle to regulate emotions, and they need reassurance. Now look around. Adults do the exact same thing, just with more expensive problems. Stress, frustration, emotional outbursts, they're not about age. They're about emotional regulation. And just because we get older doesn't mean we automatically get better at handling our emotions. Some people just learn to hide them better. Others, well, we all know that person that throws a full-on tantrum down at work. So what can we do about it? Let's talk about how we can recognize when that inner 7-year-old shows up. We're all going to have the moments where our emotions get the better of us. The key is to spotting it before we completely spiral out. So here's some signs that you might be in touch with your inner 7-year-old. You're reacting, not responding, snapping, getting defensive, or shutting down. You're personalizing everything, thinking they did that to me, they're doing this to me, instead of just dealing with the situation and seeing it as a situation that's happening. You feel an immediate need to be right. Let's leave the social media debates out of this one. And lastly, you're emotionally hijacked. Your logic is gone and you feel frustrated, angry, and hurt. Actually, the big heady thing and medical thing that happens is your amygdala kind of shuts down and it shuts down your higher functioning brain. You really can't get out of this feeling process. But the good news is we can learn ways on how to process our emotions like an adult. The first step is accept that you're going to have emotional reactions. You're human. The goal isn't to suppress emotions, it's to process them better. So here's some tips on how to self-regulate when your emotions flare up. Number 1, pause before reacting. Count to 3, take a deep breath, remind yourself that the emotions are going to pass, because they will. If you think about it, if you're watching this right now, you've probably at one point in time had an emotion and it's not with you right now. So emotions pass. Ask yourself, what's really going on here? Are you actually mad at the situation? Or is it something that's deeper going on? Get curious instead of getting defensive. Instead of reacting, ask yourself, why are you feeling this way? And how to help others when they are kind of in their 7-year-old mode. This is one of the things we want to be very, very careful with, because if someone is in their 7-year-old mode, it's easy to prompt them to get deeper ingrained in there. So since we now know that adults have emotional meltdowns too, how do we help someone through it without making it worse? Well, here's how to support others when they're struggling emotionally. Don't try to fix it immediately. People need to feel before they can process. They need to get it out a little bit. And if you try to interrupt that in the middle of the process, it'll make it worse. Validate first and advise later. So once upon a time, we're going to do another video about this, about the idea that the customer is always right versus the customer always has the right. They have the right to their feelings. Everybody has the right to their feelings. So validate first and then advise later. Saying, I get why you're upset goes further than calm down. I understand you. If I was in your position, I would feel the same way. There's multiple ways you can go about this, but it's just basic empathy. And above all, Be the stable one. Because if their inner 7-year-old sets off your inner 7-year-old, then you're going to have just a fight on the playground. So be the stable one. If they're spiraling, don't join them. Stay calm, help guide them back, be the balanced one. And your balance will set the tone and the vibe for where they need to bring themselves to. So let's talk about the logistics tie-in, why this matters, and why it matters in business in general. In logistics, or in any high-pressure industry really, emotions run high. Customers get frustrated, shipments get delayed, people on the team have bad days, trucks break down, drivers don't agree with things, brokers don't agree with things. If you can recognize emotional responses for what they are, temporary reactions, and not personal attacks, you can navigate these moments with more patience and clarity and get to the other side of them rather than keeping yourself locked into this debate. It's almost like, think about the polarity of a magnet. If this one's set here and this one's set here and you're attracted to each other, you're going to get stuck. If you're the one that flips it and stays calm, deals with the situation, understand that it's not a personal attack, you're not going to get yourself involved with it, you're going to let the other person process their feelings, move on, move forward, then later you can advise. The best leaders, brokers, and business owners aren't ones who never get emotional. They're the ones that know how to process their emotions before they react. At the end of the day, we're all just kids learning how to deal with grown-up problems. The trick is to recognizing when emotions take over, learn how to process them, and help others do the same. So the next time someone's throwing a fit, whether it's meetings, traffic jam, just a reminder, that's their inner 7-year-old talking. So let's get you involved in the conversation on this. What's a time that you recognized your own emotional 7-year-old coming out? And what did you do about it? And what's the time that you maybe noticed someone else's? Don't mention their name, but drop some comments. Let's talk about it and let's get some engagement going. We'll see you next time on The Extra Mile with Whitewater Freight. Until then, keep on trucking.